Now I'm putting on the block stiffening plate, and they get torqued down to 102 foot-pounds. So you put all these in, tighten them all a little at a time until you get to 102. I'm just gonna snug them first before I start torquing them. Do like a cross pattern type thing, you know. All started first. And we'll torque this down and we'll come back. Okay. Alright, now I'm putting in the anti-carbon rings on top of the liners in preparation for putting the head back on. Make sure there's no dust or oil or anything. See how dirty it got from when we installed it. Clean all this off. Make sure it's nice and clean. Already did 5 and 6. Slide that down in there. Alright. And we'll do number 3. We'll do the rest of them. Alright, got my new head. Getting ready to put it on my truck. I got the top of the block and all that done. And I can see right here in this mirror image that plug is missing that I mentioned earlier. Before you put the new head on, make sure you put that plug in on the bottom of it. Otherwise, you're going to have a massive air leak and low fuel mileage and, you know, all kinds of problems. But when you get one of these heads, I thought I'd mention this. This one certainly had this problem. These three little cross drilling plugs. 4 of them were loose on this head, so make sure you check them, make sure they're nice and tight and torqued down correctly. They were loose on the one I just got. This is a brand new head. This is not a reman head. So check those, make sure they're there, make sure they're present. I've had a couple guys say that make sure they're present. I've had a couple guys say that they were missing, and then they put the engine all together and then they can't get to the plugs to put them in, so you have to pull the whole head off. So they're there, they're in place on this one. Right there they are. The 3 plugs here, 3 plugs on the other end. Also, when you check this head, always check this. Make sure that every one of these, you know, I'm looking at this with a mirror. Make sure that every one of these, you know, hold that right there. Put my finger down there. These little holes right here are lined up. The bearing, make sure the bearing hole is lined up with the hole for the oil feed for each of the bearings. So check all the bearings to make sure that the hole is lined up for the oil feed. Where's this one at?
I see a hole from my side.
You can see a hole? So check all of them. Check this side here.
That's the injector cam.
That's the injector cam. Here's the valve cam.
It feeds within itself.
Oh, okay. So that one's lined up. That one's lined up. That one's lined up. You see how it's off a little bit? You can kind of see that one's off a little bit, but it's still lined up. It'll work. That one's lined up perfectly. That one's off a tiny bit, but it's still open the entire hole. That one's okay. That one's okay. So the injector cam doesn't have that all the way down. It only has one on each end. So check the one on each end, and then the ones in the middle are, I guess, fed through the cam, like you said. So, and then also check, make sure your valve stems are tight. There's no side play in them, you know. So you check all of them. I'm just giving it a good hard wiggle. My old head, you know, you can feel a lot of play in the valve stems because it was old and worn out. And if you don't inspect this, you put it all together, you could be wasting a lot of money getting it back off here trying to make a warranty claim. It's easier to find a problem now than when you put the damn thing on. You have to take it off again. So I'm happy with it. We just need to put that plug in that one side and we'll put it on the truck. Okay, this is my injector cam. This is my valve cam. Now my engine has had the life of Riley, where it had clean oil in it its whole life. But I would imagine an engine that didn't have good clean oil in it, that had soot-prone oil, where the oil was nasty and black all the time. You know, we were looking at this head, and it's only fed at the very ends, and then all these middle bearings are fed through the cam itself. And I would imagine, unless you cleaned all this out, all these holes, and you know, got all this soot buildup over time out of these holes that feed this cam, that you would have problems in short order. I imagine it would cause this thing very quickly to spin a bearing somewhere in the middle of the cam. And I've seen a lot of engines actually spin bearings in the cam in the center here, the very center part. I would be prone to thinking that might be a contributing factor. You know, why some people have problems with head spinning a bearing, because it always spins it in the middle when you replace the head and they don't replace the cam for some reason. And that might be why your cross drillings in the cam itself may be clogged with soot and carbon and crap. So I thought I'd mention that. This one here is nice and clean. I haven't cleaned this one yet. It's just straight out of my motor. You know, we're going to clean it up a little bit. But it's never really had a carbon packing issue, this engine. It's always run good, nice, good, clean oil. So, and it's just shown, I mean, a million miles, there's hardly any wear at all in this thing. It shows when you run and take care of your equipment. Rollers, I mean, all this stuff looks almost new. Anyway, let's put the head on this truck. I made a board and I oiled it down and sanded it and oiled it down to protect the top of the block, so that when we set the head down, because we have to put the head in on an angle on my truck because it's an inset engine, you know, we're going to put this board here for safety in case it bumps, so that it doesn't do any damage to the top of the block or to the anti-carbon anti-packing rings. And I think that was a good decision, so that it protects everything. So let's get to it. Let's see, that's the front of the engine. The injector cam is over here, so that would be the front of the motor facing that way. That would go towards the front of the motor. Okay, here's my upper gasket set box for my engine. Part number 4352145. And everybody always asks me this question, okay? Here's the gaskets for those cover plates for the back of the cams and the head, okay? And everybody asks me the same question. What are these little plugs here for? What are these little white rubber things here? Come with the gasket set. Okay, these four little things. I'm going to take them out here real quick. Try to do it with one hand and hold the camera. Alright, what are these four little plugs for? They come with the cylinder gasket headset. Okay, the upper gasket set. I'm going to show you. Whenever you take the engine apart, right here are the oil feeds for the head and the cams. There's two in the front, two in the back. Guess what these plugs are for? When you pull the old head off, immediately you're supposed to put these plugs in here to prevent dirt and trash to getting in the oil channels in the engine block. There's two there, and they fit in these little holes just perfectly. Let me show that. That's what those four rubber plugs are in the upper gasket set. So we're going to take them out because we're getting ready to put the head on. And this is all nice and clean and ready to go. So we're going to getting ready to put our head on, and I figured I'd show that real quick because everybody's always asking me, what are those plugs for? So let's go put our cover plates on, because our new head did not come with the cover plates. Here's the old head. It didn't come with these plates. So we're going to take them off the old head, put new gaskets, and put them on the new head.
Recording.
On the back driver's side corner of the head is the date code. I didn't buy a reman. I bought a brand new head, 2/23/2016. How about that? Anyway, don't forget this plug. I know I keep saying it, but I can't tell you how many people call me up saying, I got really low fuel mileage and my engine don't run that good. I got power. Because this plug right here is missing from the new head. Now we need to torque it down. Cut.